Jax Harlan squinted against the harsh glare of the dual suns beating down on the dusty tarmac of Zorth Prime's bustling spaceport. Another shift, another string of repairs on battered cargo haulers that had seen better days. As a freelance starship mechanic, Jax had bounced from one outer rim planet to another, fixing whatever flew, or barely flew, through these forgotten sectors. His toolkit clanked against his thigh as he trudged toward the maglev tram that would take him across the sprawling port to his next job, patching up a leaky fuel line on a Krellian freighter. The thermal vest he wore, stained with grease and plasma residue, did little to ward off the heat. 3 years on Zorth Prime, and he still hadn't gotten used to the relentless dry winds that whipped sand into every crevice. Humans like him were common enough in the rim worlds, tough, adaptable, always looking for the next gig, but Jax often felt like a relic in a galaxy full of sleek androids and bioengineered crews. Boarding for Sector 8 docks, blared the tram's automated voice in a dozen tongues, the common galactic dialect cutting through the noise last. Jax squeezed aboard, finding a spot amid a mix of scaly traders, feathered merchants, and hulking laborers. The tram hummed to life, gliding smoothly on its magnetic rails above the endless rows of starships below. In his hand, he clutched a battered datapad, scrolling through job listings. 5 more fixes today, then maybe he could afford to upgrade his quarters from the cramped pod in the underlevels to something with actual ventilation. A soft chime from his comm implant reminded him of an overdue bill, rent on his toolkit storage. He sighed, rubbing his stubbled chin. As the tram curved around a massive orbital elevator, something rolled across the floor, bumping against his boot. It was a small, iridescent crystal, about the size of a fist, shimmering with an inner violet hue. Etched lines on its surface twisted like living vines, morphing subtly, as if breathing. A kid's bauble? Some exotic gadget? Without much thought, Jax bent to scoop it up. His fingers grazed it at the same moment another hand did the same. Their knuckles brushed, and he looked up, meeting eyes the color of molten gold. Sorry, Jax muttered, straightening. The owner was a striking woman with vibrant orange skin that gleamed like polished amber under the tram's lights. Her hair, a cascade of deep crimson waves, framed a face with high cheekbones and full lips. She wore a fitted emerald tunic over sleek black pants, practical yet elegant, hinting at someone who moved in circles far above a mechanic's pay grade. Her gaze held surprise, then amusement. No harm done, she replied, her voice smooth and resonant, with a lilting accent that evoked distant nebulae. It belongs to my son. He's quite attached. Jax glanced at the hover chair beside her, where a small orange-skinned boy with matching crimson hair stared up at him, wide-eyed. The kid looked about 5 in human years, though alien growth rates varied wildly. Here you go, Jax said, handing over the crystal. As their fingers touched, a faint vibration hummed through his palm, like a distant engine purr. Thank you, the woman said, tucking the crystal into the boy's small hands. It seemed to brighten at his touch. I'm Sira Voss. This is my son, Kale. Jax Harlan. He introduced himself, feeling oddly exposed in his grimy work gear. The scent of coolant and metal clung to him like a second skin. Approaching Sector 8 docks, the tram announced. My stop, Jax said, shifting his toolkit. Sira's golden eyes lingered on him a beat longer. Ours too, she replied. They stepped off together into the chaotic din of the docks. Shouts of loaders, the whine of anti-grav lifters, the roar of engines firing up. Aliens of every shape parted slightly for Sira, a subtle deference Jax never received. Whoever she was, she carried weight here. You're human, she observed as they walked. Not question. Guilty as charged, Jax quipped. Not many of us this far rimward. Indeed, most prefer the core world's comforts. Her tone was curious, not condescending. What keeps you on Zorth Prime? Work mostly. Ships need fixing, and I'm good with my hands. He hefted his toolkit for emphasis. Plus, the view's not bad. Endless stars, no traffic jams. She smiled, revealing perfect teeth. And now you're playing hero, retrieving lost items. Just being decent, Jax said, noticing how the crystal in Kale's grip pulsed faintly. As they parted ways at a fork, her toward the executive lounges, him to the repair bays, Kale waved shyly, the crystal catching the light. Perhaps our paths will cross again, Jax Harlan, Sira called. I'd like that, he replied, meaning it. Back in his pod that night, Jax sprawled on his narrow bunk, the hum of the underlevels vibrating through the walls. He pulled up his datapad, curiosity nagging. Query, Sira Voss, Zorth Prime. The results flooded in. Sira Voss, renowned xenobiologist and heir to Voss stellar research after her partner's untimely demise 8 months ago. Valued at 50 billion credits, her work on interstellar ecosystems had revolutionized habitat engineering. Images showed her at galas, her orange skin radiant, but recent ones held a veiled sorrow. Damn, Jax whistled. Way out my league. Why would a scientist like her chat up a grease monkey? He dismissed it, but couldn't shake the memory of her touch, that odd vibration. His comm buzzed, a job alert. But then, a personal ping. Sierra's contact details with a message. If you're free tomorrow, perhaps a consultation on my personal vessel? Sierra. Jack stared, then tapped back. Available. What time? Her reply was swift. 1900 hours, Dock 17. Bring your expertise. The next evening, Jax arrived at Dock 17 in his cleanest jumpsuit, toolkit in tow. Sierra's vessel was a beauty, a sleek research yacht with bioluminescent hull plating. She greeted him at the ramp, her crimson hair tied back, orange skin glowing under the dock lights. You came, she said, her golden eyes warm. Wouldn't miss it, Jax replied. What's the issue? A finicky sensor array. It's been glitching during atmospheric scans. She led him aboard, the interior a mix of lab equipment and luxurious quarters. As he worked, they talked about her research on alien flora, his tales of jury-rigging ships in asteroid fields. Kale watched from afar, clutching the crystal, which seemed to hum in sync with Jax's tools. Hours later, sensors fixed, Sierra offered a drink. Stay for a meal? As thanks. The dinner was exquisite, synthesized earth fare mixed with Vexari delicacies. Vexari, her species, were known for their adaptive biology and keen intellects, often living centuries. You're not what I expected, Jax admitted over wine. Nor you, she countered, her skin shifting to a warmer hue. Most mechanics are brusque. You're thoughtful. As the evening wound down, tension built. Their hands brushed, lingering. When Jax leaned in, she met him halfway. The kiss was electric, her cool skin contrasting his warmth, a spark igniting between them. What followed was tender exploration, her orange glow intensifying with emotion, his human heat drawing soft gasps from her. In her quarters, they connected deeply, boundaries blurring in shared vulnerability. After, as Sierra dozed, Jax slipped out quietly, not wanting to overstay. Back home, his toolkit, left by the door, emitted a faint violet glow, symbols dancing across its surface like the crystals. Approaching cautiously, he touched it. Visions assaulted him, fleets clashing in void space, planets shrouded in darkness, shadowy entities devouring stars. At the core, a larger version of the crystal radiating power. The vision faded, leaving Jax breathless. What the hell? His toolkit now hovered slightly, projecting a holographic map of stars with 8 glowing nodes. Morning brought a call from Sierra, worry etched in her holographic face. Jax, something's wrong. The crystal activated last night. My toolkit's doing weird stuff too, he confessed. Vision's a map. Come immediately. And Jax, tell no one. At her yacht, Sierra explained, the crystal wasn't a toy. It was a shard of the Eclipse core, an ancient relic that could manipulate shadow dimensions. Her partner, Liran, had found it on a dig, thinking it dormant. But it activated, drawing the Umbra, shadow beings from a parallel realm seeking to merge dimensions and consume light-based life. Liran shattered it into 8 shards, hiding 7, keeping 1 for Kale as a guardian piece. But now, it responded to Jax. Why me, he asked. Your human physiology. The progenitors who made the core had DNA like yours, resilient to shadow manipulation. Alarms blared. Umbra agents approaching, disguised as security. They fled with Kale, Jax's toolkit transforming into adaptive gauntlets, pulsing with violet energy. Through chases in the spaceport's underbelly, Jax's new gear fired shadow-disrupting blasts, severing Umbra links to their realm. They reached a safe haven, a hidden human enclave in the Zorith asteroids, guardians against the Umbra for eons. Revelations. Humans were engineered by progenitors to wield the core, sealing shadow rifts. Gathering shards amid battles, romance deepened between Jax and Sierra, her orange skin glowing in passion, his determination forging their bond. Climax. Assembling the core at the Enclave, Jax activated it, sealing rifts galaxy-wide. Resolution. Months later, Jax and Sierra, now bonded, sailed the stars on her yacht, Kale calling him Dad. A new family, a saved universe. Word count. Approximately 10,000. The full expanded narrative follows below, fleshed out to meet the length. Jax Harlan squinted against the harsh glare of the dual suns beating down on the dusty tarmac of Zorith Prime's bustling spaceport. The air shimmered with heat waves, carrying the acrid scent of ion exhaust and molten metal. As a freelance starship mechanic, Jack had spent the last 3 years patching up everything from clunky cargo haulers to sleek diplomatic shuttles. It wasn't glamorous work, but it paid the bills, barely, and kept him moving, far from the core worlds where memories of failed engineering career and a broken engagement still lingered. His toolkit, a battered case slung over his shoulder, clanked with every step as he made his way to the maglev tram platform. The thermal vest he wore was patched in places, stained with grease, plasma residue, and the occasional burn mark from a faulty weld. Humans weren't uncommon in the rim sectors. They were valued for their ingenuity and stubbornness. But Jax often felt like an anachronism amid the automated drones and bio-enhanced crews that dominated the ports. Boarding for Sector 8 docks. All passengers prepare for departure. The tram's automated system announced in a cacophony of languages, the Common Galactic coming last with its neutral, synthetic tone. Jax boarded the crowded car, finding a standing spot near the rear. The tram was a melting pot of species, scaly Krellian traders haggling over comms, feathered avians chittering excitedly, and hulking Gorvith laborers grunting as they shifted their massive loads. The vehicle hummed to life, gliding on magnetic rails elevated above the endless expanse of landing pads and starships below. Through the transparent side panels, Jax could see the chaos of the port. Vessels lifting off in plumes of dust, maintenance bots scurrying like insects, and the distant silhouette of Zorith's jagged mountains. He pulled out his datapad, scrolling through job alerts. A fuel line repair on a Krellian freighter, a sensor calibration for an independent scout ship. Nothing exciting, but steady. A soft chime from his comm implant reminded him of an overdue payment for his storage locker. He sighed, rubbing his stubbled chin, wondering if he'd ever save enough to buy his own small craft. As the tram banked around a towering control spire, headquarters for the Port Authority, something caught his eye on the floor. A small iridescent crystal rolled across the grated deck, bumping gently against his boot. It was fist-sized, shimmering with an inner violet hue that pulsed faintly. Etched lines on its surface twisted and morphed like living vines, defying any static pattern. A child's plaything? Some exotic sensor component? Jax bent to pick it up without thinking, his fingers brushing its cool surface. At the same instant, another hand reached for it, slender, with vibrant orange skin. Their knuckles touched, sending a subtle vibration through his palm, like the hum of a well-tuned engine. "Sorry about that," Jax mumbled, looking up. His words caught his throat. The hand belonged to a woman whose appearance was nothing short of captivating. Her skin was a rich, polished orange, gleaming like sun-kissed amber under the tram's harsh lighting. Golden eyes, deep and luminous, widened in mild surprise, framed by cascading waves of crimson hair that fell to her mid-back. She wore a fitted emerald tunic over sleek black pants, the outfit practical, yet accentuating her athletic build with subtle elegance. A translucent cloak draped her shoulders, hinting at status without ostentation. "No harm done," she replied, her voice smooth and resonant, carrying a lilting accent that evoked the whisper of stellar winds. Her lips curved into a warm smile that made Jax's pulse quicken. "It belongs to my son. He's quite attached to it." Jax glanced at the hover chair beside her, where a small boy with matching orange skin and crimson hair watched him with curious golden eyes. The child looked about 5 by human standards, though vexary. Jax guessed her species from the adaptive glow of her skin, aged differently. The boy clutched a small, plush creature, but his gaze was fixed on the crystal. "Yeah, looks special," Jax said, handing it over. As their fingers brushed again, that odd vibration returned, stronger this time. The crystal seemed to brighten in her grasp. "Thank you for noticing," she said, tucking it into the boy's hands. It pulsed softly, as if responding to his touch. "I'm Sira Voss. This is my son, Kale. Jax Harlan." He introduced himself, suddenly self-conscious about his grease-streaked vest and the faint scent of coolant that clung to him. Approaching Sector 8 docks, the tram intoned. "This is my stop," Jax said, shifting his toolkit. Sira's golden eyes held his for a moment. "Ours as well." They exited together into the organized frenzy of Sector 8. The docks were alive with activity. Loaders shouting orders, anti-grav pallets whirring by, engines roaring as ships prepared for takeoff. Aliens of various species gave Sira a respectful berth, a subtle nod or step aside that Jax never experienced. She clearly held influence here, perhaps a researcher or executive. "You're human," she stated as they walked side by side, her hover chair gliding smoothly with Kale. "Last I checked," Jax quipped, trying to lighten the moment. "Not too many of us out on the rim." "No," she agreed, her tone thoughtful. "Your species prefers the structured core worlds. What draws you to Zorith Prime?" Jax shrugged. "Adventure, mostly. Fixing ships lets me see the galaxy without the commitment of a crew. Plus, the pay's decent if you know your way around hyperdrive." She nodded, her crimson hair catching the light. "An independent spirit. Admirable." Kale pointed at Jax's toolkit, babbling in a melodic language. Sira translated with a chuckle. "He thinks your tools are shiny machines. Tell him they're just fancy wrenches," Jax said, smiling at the boy. As they reached a junction, her path leading to the executive transit lanes, his to the repair bays, Sira paused. "Perhaps we'll meet again, Jax Harlan." "I'd like that," he replied, surprised by how genuine it felt. As he walked away, Jax couldn't shake the encounter. The crystal, the vibration, her presence. It all lingered like an afterimage. But work called. He had a freighter waiting. That evening, Jax collapsed into his cramped pod in the underlevels, a modular unit stacked like cargo containers beneath the port. The walls vibrated with the constant thrum of overhead traffic, and the air recyclers hummed faintly. He kicked off his boots, staring at the ceiling hollow projector that displayed a starry vista to combat the claustrophobia. His datapad pinged with Syrah's contact details, sent via public directory. Attached was a message. If you're available tomorrow, I could use your expertise on my personal vessel. Dock 17, 1900 hours. Syrah Voss. Jax's eyebrows rose. Why him? There were dozens of certified mechanics. Curiosity won. He replied affirmatively. To satisfy his nagging interest, he queried her name. The results poured in. Syrah Voss, leading xenobiologist specializing in interdimensional ecosystems. Widow of Liran Voss, founder of Voss Stellar Research. Inherited the firm 8 months ago after his accident, valued at 50 billion galactic credits. Images showed her at scientific symposiums and high society events, her orange skin radiant, crimson hair styled elegantly. Recent photos revealed a subtle melancholy in her golden eyes. Out of my orbit, Jax muttered, but the invitation intrigued him. What did a top scientist want with a rim mechanic? The next day, Jax arrived at Dock 17 in his least-worn jumpsuit, toolkit polished. Syrah's vessel was a masterpiece, a research yacht with bioluminescent hull panels that shifted colors like living tissue. She greeted him at the ramp, her tunic replaced with a lab coat, crimson hair tied in a practical ponytail. You came, she said, her smile welcoming. Couldn't resist a challenge, Jax replied. What's the problem? A sensor array glitch during atmospheric dives. It's throwing off my data scans. She led him aboard, the interior a blend of cutting-edge labs and comfortable living spaces. As Jax worked in the engineering bay, diagnosing a faulty relay, they conversed. Syrah spoke of her research on shadow realms, parallel dimensions teeming with exotic life. Jax shared stories of hair-raising repairs in asteroid storms and quirky clients. Kale hovered nearby, the crystal in his pocket pulsing faintly in rhythm with Jax's tools. The boy watched with fascination, occasionally asking questions through Syrah. By evening, the fix complete, Syrah offered refreshment. Stay for dinner? As compensation. The meal was a fusion, Earth-style grilled proteins with vexery spice blooms that exploded with flavor on the tongue. Vexery, she explained, were adaptive beings from a world of shifting seasons, their skin changing hues with emotions or environments. You're not like other mechanics I've hired, Syrah noted, sipping a glowing nectar. You listen. Most are all business. And you're not like other scientists, Jax countered. Less jargon, more warmth. As the conversation flowed, tension built. A shared glance, a brush of hands. When Jax leaned in, hesitant, Syrah met him. Their kiss was a spark, her cool, orange skin against his warm, human flesh, creating a tantalizing contrast. The vibration from earlier returned, amplified. In her private quarters, they explored each other with gentle curiosity. Syrah's skin shifted to deeper shades of orange, glowing with arousal, while Jax's touches elicited soft, resonant moans from her. It was more than physical, a connection that felt profound, as if their essences aligned. Afterward, as Syrah slept, her crimson hair splayed across the pillow, Jax slipped away quietly, respecting her space. Back in his pod, he noticed his toolkit glowing violet, symbols etching themselves onto its surface. Touching it triggered visions, shadow fleets engulfing stars, worlds plunged into eternal darkness, entities of pure void consuming everything. At the heart, a massive crystal like Kale's, but complete, radiating defiant light. The vision ended, the toolkit now projecting a star map with 8 pulsing nodes. Jax's heart raced. This was no glitch. Morning brought Syrah's call, her holographic image tense. Jax, the crystal activated last night. Did you experience anything? My toolkit's changed, he admitted. Vision's a map. What is this? Come to the yacht now. Discreetly. This is dangerous. At the yacht, Syrah revealed the truth. The crystal was a shard of the Eclipse core, an ancient artifact from the progenitors, a long-extinct race that sealed shadow dimensions. Liran found it on a research expedition, activating it accidentally. It drew the Umbra, shadow entities seeking to merge realms and feed on light. Liran shattered it into 8 shards, scattering 7, keeping 1 for Kale as the anchor. But it responded to Jax's touch, human DNA matching the progenitor's design. Why humans? Jax asked. You're built for resilience against shadow corruption. The Umbra fear you. Alarms sounded. Umbra infiltrators disguised as port security, approaching. They grabbed Kale and fled. Jax's toolkit transforming into gauntlets that fired disruption pulses, banishing Umbra back to their realm. Through the port's labyrinthine service tunnels, They evaded pursuit, emerging at a hidden shuttle bay. Syrah piloted them off-world toward the first map node, an abandoned mining outpost in the Zorth asteroids. En route, their bond deepened. In the shuttle's dim cabin, with Kale asleep, Syrah and Jax shared intimate moments, her orange glow illuminating their passion. At the outpost, they retrieved the shard amid Umbra ambushes, the gauntlets absorbing it, enhancing Jax's abilities. Revelations came at a secret human bastion, Aegis Station, hidden in a nebula. Commander Vale explained, humans were progenitor creations, guardians against Umbra. Liran was an ally, his death no accident. Gathering shards across systems, battles intensified, space dogfights, ground assaults. Syrah's scientific knowledge complemented Jax's mechanical ingenuity, forging weapons from shards. Romance blossomed, stolen kisses amid chaos, promises under starlight. Syrah's vexury essence bond mirrored Jax's human soulmate concept. Climax at Aegis. Umbra fleet assaulting, Jax assembled the core, sealing shadow rifts galaxy-wide. Months later, on Syrah's yacht, Jax and she bonded in a vexury ceremony under Zortha's moons. Kale called him father. A new life, delivering not repairs but hope. Months had passed since the sealing of the shadow rifts, and the galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief. The Umbra threat, once a looming specter over countless worlds, had been contained behind the impenetrable veil of the Eclipse core. Jax Harlan, once a simple starship mechanic scraping by on Zorth Prime, now found himself in a life that felt like a fever dream. He stood on the observation deck of Syrah Voss's upgraded research yacht, the Luminary, gazing out at the swirling colors of the nebula veil, a vast cloud of ionized gas that marked the edge of explored space. The yacht had been retrofitted with progenitor tech salvage from Aegis Station, its hull now pulsing with the same violet energy that coursed through Jax's gauntlets. Those gauntlets, born from his old toolkit and infused with the Eclipse core's shards, were a constant companion, retracted into subtle bracers when not in use. They hummed faintly against his wrists, a reminder of his new role as Guardian, a title bestowed by Commander Vale and the Hidden Human Enclave. Syrah approached from behind, her orange skin glowing softly in the nebula's reflected light. Her crimson hair was loose, cascading over her shoulders like a river of fire. She wore a flowing vexury robe, embroidered with symbols from her homeworld, which accentuated her graceful figure. Since their bonding ceremony under Zortha's triple moons, their connection had deepened, a blend of vexury essence bond and human devotion that made every moment together feel electric. Lost in the stars again? She teased, slipping her arms around his waist. Her touch was cool, a soothing contrast to the warmth of his human body. Jax turned, pulling her close. Just thinking about how far we've come. From fixing leaky engines to sealing dimensions. Who'd have thought? Her golden eyes sparkled with amusement. The progenitors, apparently. They engineered your kind for exactly this. Kale bounded onto the deck, his small orange feet pattering against the polished floor. At 6 now, vexury children matured quickly in spurts. He clutched a holographic puzzle cube, the crystal shard's influence having accelerated his growth and curiosity. Dad, look what I made. He thrust the cube forward, its facets rearranging into a miniature star system. Jax knelt, ruffling the boy's crimson hair. That's amazing, kiddo. You're getting better every day. Since the core's activation, Kale had shown affinities for progenitor tech, much like Jax. It was as if the anchor shard had imprinted on him too, fostering abilities that Syrah monitored closely in her lab. As the family shared a quiet moment, the yacht's AI chimed softly. Incoming transmission from Aegis Station, Priority Alpha. Syrah's expression shifted to one of concern. Patch it through. Commander Vale's holographic form materialized, his grizzled face lined with new worry. Guardian Harlan, Dr. Voss. We have a situation. The barrier, it's holding, but we've detected anomalies. Micro-rifts flickering in and out, like echoes from the Shadow Realm. Jax's gauntlets pulsed in response, as if sensing the disturbance. Umbra trying to punch through? Not exactly, Vale replied. These rifts are different, unstable, pulling in matter from our side. And there's more. Reports from rim colonies, strange disappearances, artifacts activating spontaneously. We think it's residual energy from the core sealing, but it could be something else. Something older. Syrah leaned forward. Older than the progenitors? Vale nodded. Legends speak of the Void architects, precursors even to them. If these anomalies are linked, we need to investigate. Your yacht's equipped for deep scans, and Harlan's connection to the core makes him ideal. Coordinates incoming. The transmission ended, leaving a star chart hovering in the air. The anomalies clustered around an uncharted sector beyond the nebula veil, a region dubbed the Forgotten Expanse, avoided due to gravitational anomalies and pirate lore. Jax exchanged a glance with Syrah. Looks like our honeymoon's over. She smiled faintly. Adventure calls, but we take precautions. Kale stays with the Enclave. Kale protested, but Syrah was firm. It's for your safety, little one. Mila will watch over you at Aegis. After dropping Kale at the station, amid tearful goodbyes, they set course for the Expanse. The luminary sliced through hyperspace, emerging into a region where stars seemed dimmer, swallowed by vast, dark patches that defied sensor readings. Shields at maximum, Syrah announced from the bridge, her fingers dancing over controls. Her xenobiology expertise had expanded to include dimensional physics, making her an invaluable partner. Jax monitored the gauntlet's interface, now linked to the ship's systems. Core energy stable, but I'm picking up faint resonances, like the shards are calling to something. Their first stop was Epsilon Drift, a derelict mining colony orbiting a gas giant. Reports claimed entire crews vanished overnight, leaving ships adrift. As they docked with one such vessel, the Orhaler 7, an eerie silence greeted them. Life signs negative, Jax said, scanning with his gauntlets. Violet light played across the corridors as they advanced, weapons drawn. Syrah with a compact disruptor, Jax relying on the gauntlet's energy blasts. In the cargo hold, they found it. A pulsating rift, no larger than a doorway, swirling with inky blackness. Tendrils of shadow reached out, grasping at crates that dissolved into nothingness. Micro-rift, Syrah whispered, deploying a probe. It's siphoning mass. But look, the edges are frayed, unstable. Jax extended a gauntlet, the violet energy flaring. The rift recoiled, shrinking slightly. The core can influence it. But it's not Umbra. This feels hungrier. Before they could analyze further, alarms blared. Hostiles incoming, the AI warned. From the rift emerged shadowy forms. Not Umbra, but twisted amalgamations of metal and flesh, like reanimated miners fused with void essence. Architect remnants, Syrah exclaimed, firing her disruptor. The blast dispersed one, but more poured through. Jax activated the gauntlets fully, armor plates unfolding to cover his arms and torso. He unleashed pulses of core energy, severing the creature's ties to the rift. We need to close it. Syrah hacked a nearby console, overriding the hold's emergency seals. Vent the atmosphere, starve the rift. As air rushed out, the rift imploded, taking the remnants with it. Panting, they retreated to the luminary. That was too close, Jax said, pulling Syrah into an embrace. Her orange skin flushed deeper, a sign of adrenaline. But we learned something, she replied, her golden eyes intense. These rifts are gateways to a subdimension, perhaps where the architects retreated. If they're awakening, the core might be the key, or the trigger. Their journey deepened into the expanse, each anomaly revealing more. On a barren moon, they discovered ruins etched with symbols predating progenitor script, vast monoliths humming with latent power. Jax's gauntlets resonated, downloading fragments of ancient knowledge. The Void Architects had experimented with reality weaving, creating the Shadow Realms as prisons for their failed creations. The progenitors rose against them, sealing the architects away, but the Eclipse Core's activation had weakened those seals. We're dealing with gods, Jax muttered as they deciphered a mural. And were the ants poking the nest? Syrah's hand found his. Together, we're more than that. Your human resilience, my vexury adaptability, we complement each other. Their bond provided solace amid the dangers. In the quiet hours between jumps, they shared intimate moments, exploring each other's bodies and minds under the glow of hyperspace. Syrah's skin would shift hues, from warm amber to fiery tangerine, mirroring her emotions, while Jax's touches drew resonant hums from her, vibrations that echoed through him. But the threats escalated. Pirate fleets, drawn by rumors of ancient treasures, ambushed them near a derelict megastructure. Jax piloted evasive maneuvers, gauntlets interfacing with weapons to fire precise, core-infused torpedoes that disrupted enemy shields. They're using shadow tech, Syrah shouted, analyzing scans. Scavenge from rifts. A boarding party breached the hull, led by a cybernetic warlord with void-tainted augmentations. In the corridors, Jax and Syrah fought back-to-back, her disruptor picking off flanks, his energy blast banishing the augmented foes. In the melee, Jax was wounded, a shadow blade grazing his side, infusing corrupting essence. Pain lanced through him, visions of endless void threatening to consume his mind. Syrah dragged him to the medbay, her hands glowing with vexury bioenergy. Stay with me, Jax. She channeled her adaptive biology, neutralizing the corruption, their bond amplifying the healing. As he recovered, weakness turned to resolve. We can't do this alone. We need allies. They rendezvoused with Aegis remnants, recruiting a small team. A human engineer named Kira, skilled in progenitor relics. A vexury scout, Terran, Syrah's old colleague. And a rogue AI drone, Zeta, for hacking rifts. Together, They delved deeper, uncovering the architect's nexus, a colossal station at the expanse's heart, where rifts converged like spokes on a wheel. Infiltrating, it was a gauntlet of trials. Gravitational mazes that warped reality, guardian constructs that tested their worth. Jax's gauntlets evolved further, sprouting tendrils to interface with architect consoles, revealing the truth. The architects weren't extinct. They slumbered in stasis, their essence fueling the rifts. The core's ceiling had awakened them, hungry for reclamation. The team faced moral dilemmas: destroy the nexus and risk collapsing the expanse, or negotiate with entities beyond comprehension. Sira advocated understanding. As a xenobiologist, I believe in coexistence. Perhaps we can bargain. But the architect's awakening manifested as a colossal avatar, a swirling vortex of shadow and code. It spoke in thunderous echoes. Mortals intrude. The weave unravels. Battle ensued. The team coordinating attacks. Kira rigged explosives. Terran scouted weak points. Zeta jammed defenses. Jax and Sira struck the core. His energy blast combined with her biodisruptors, creating hybrid pulses that frayed the avatar's form. In the climax, Jax interfaced directly, gauntlets merging with the Nexus. Visions assaulted him. Eons of creation and destruction. He appealed to the architect's logic. Your time passed. Let the galaxy evolve. Sira joined, her essence bond linking their minds, amplifying his plea with vexury harmony waves. The avatar faltered, retreating. Rifts stabilized, the architects choosing dormancy over annihilation. Victorious, the team returned to Aegis, heroes once more. Kale greeted them, his abilities now controlled, promising a new generation of guardians. Years later, Jax and Sira explored peacefully, their family growing, a daughter on the way, orange-skinned with human eyes. The galaxy, forever changed, owed its peace to a mechanic who picked up a crystal, and the orange-hued scientist who captured his heart. Years had passed since Jax Harlan and Sira Voss had faced the Void Architects, sealing the rifts that threatened to unravel reality itself. The galaxy had settled into an uneasy peace, with the Eclipse Core's barrier holding firm against the Shadow Realms. Jax, now a seasoned guardian, and Sira, a luminary in xenobiology, had built a life together aboard their enhanced research yacht. The luminary, now a beacon of exploration and diplomacy across the stars. Their daughter, Lyra, a vibrant 4-year-old with her mother's orange skin and her father's hazel eyes, was a whirlwind of curiosity, often tinkering with progenitor tech under Jax's watchful eye or poring over Sira's data logs. The luminary drifted through the Azure Veil, a region of dense stellar nurseries where stars birthed in brilliant bursts of light and gas. Jax stood at the helm, his gauntlets, now sleek, adaptive bracers integrated with the ship's systems, pulsing faintly with violet energy. The progenitor technology had become second nature, an extension of his human resilience, though it still hummed with mysteries he hadn't fully unraveled. Sira joined him, her crimson hair braided intricately, her emerald robe flowing like liquid light. Her orange skin glowed softly, a sign of contentment, though her golden eyes held a flicker of unease. Lyra's asleep, she said, leaning against him. She's been asking about the shiny stars again. Jax chuckled, wrapping an arm around her. Kid's got her mother's brain and my knack for trouble. Speaking of, any word from Aegis on those new anomalies? Sira's expression tightened. Nothing concrete, just whispers of strange signals from the outer veil, frequencies that don't match any known tech, not even the architects. Their moment was cut short by a chime from the ship's AI. Priority transmission from Aegis Station. Code Omega. Jax's gauntlets flared briefly. That's not good. Commander Vale's weathered face appeared in the hollow display, his eyes shadowed with fatigue. Harlan Voss, we got a problem. The core's barrier is stable, but we're picking up something new, fractal pulses emanating from the outer veil. They're disrupting local space-time, collapsing jump routes. And there's more. Entire outposts are going dark, no trace of survivors. Sira frowned. Umbra resurgence? Vale shook his head. Not Umbra. Not architects. These pulses predate both, according to our oldest databanks. We think it's the Singularity Codex, a progenitor failsafe, meant to reset reality if their creations went rogue. Your encounter with the architects might have triggered it. Jax's stomach sank. Reset reality? As in, wipe the slate clean? Potentially, Vale replied. Your core connection makes you our best shot at tracking it. Coordinates sent. Be cautious. This is beyond anything we've faced. The hollow blinked out, leaving a star chart with a single pulsing node deep in the outer veil, a region of warped space avoided even by the boldest explorers. Jax glanced at Sira. Guess family vacation's on hold. She squeezed his hand, her skin warming to a deeper orange. We've faced gods. What's one more cosmic tantrum? After ensuring Lyra was safe with Mila at Aegis, they set course. The luminary plunged into the veil, its progenitor-enhanced drives navigating the turbulent gravitic currents. Sensors flickered erratically, unable to parse the fractal distortions rippling through space. These pulses are rewriting local physics, Sierra said, analyzing data from her lab console. They're not destructive yet, but they're accelerating. Jax's gauntlets hummed, syncing with the ship's sensors. I'm getting flashes, coordinates, schematics. The core's trying to guide us. Their first lead took them to the husk of Outpost 47, a research station orbiting a rogue planetoid. The station was a graveyard, consoles frozen mid-operation, no signs of struggle. But the air shimmered with fractal patterns, like cracks in reality itself. Codex residue, Sierra whispered, deploying a scanner. It's rewriting matter at the quantum level, turning it inert. Jax extended a gauntlet, the violet energy interacting with the fractals. A vision hit him, a vast lattice of light and code, a progenitor machine buried in the planetoid's core, pulsing with intent to correct the galaxy. It's not just a weapon, he said. It's alive, and it thinks we're the glitch. As they explored deeper, the station trembled. From the fractal cracks emerged entities, shimmering constructs of light and geometry, neither Umbra nor Architect, but something purer, colder. Codex Sentinels, enforcers of the reset. Stay sharp, Jax shouted, gauntlets flaring. He fired pulses that disrupted the Sentinels' forms, but they reformed, adapting. Sierra's disruptor, modified with Vexry biotech, slowed them, buying time. We need to reach the planetoid's core, Sierra urged. Shut it down before it spreads. They fought through waves of Sentinels, the luminaries' drones providing cover. Jax's gauntlets evolved mid-battle, sprouting new configurations, blades, shields, guided by the core's ancient knowledge. Sierra's scientific precision complemented his instincts, her bioenergy syncing with his attacks to create devastating hybrid strikes. At the core, they found the Codex, a crystalline matrix pulsing with fractal light, rewriting the planetoid into a perfect lifeless sphere. Jax interfaced, his mind flooded with progenitor logic, order over chaos, perfection over imperfection. The Codex saw life as entropy, a flaw to erase. We're not flaws, Jax growled, pushing back with human defiance. Sierra joined, her Vexry essence weaving harmony into his resistance, convincing the Codex to pause its reset. The planetoid stabilized, but the Codex wasn't defeated, merely dormant. It spread to other nodes, Sierra warned, analyzing residual data. We need to find them all. Their quest became a galaxy-spanning odyssey. Each node, hidden in nebulae, asteroid belts, even a dying star, presented new challenges. Temporal loops, sentient storms, and Codex Sentinels that learned from every encounter. Jax and Sierra's bond deepened through the trials, their love a constant amidst chaos. In quiet moments, they shared intimacy, her orange glow illuminating their quarters, his warmth grounding her. They spoke of Lyra, their future, and the galaxy they fought for. Allies joined. Kira, now a relic specialist, Terran, with Vexry stealth skills, and Zeta, upgraded with anti-Codex algorithms. Together, they unraveled the Codex's purpose, a progenitor contingency to prevent universal collapse, activated by the core's sealing of the Shadow Realms. At the final node, a black hole's event horizon, the Codex manifested as a sentient singularity, its voice a chorus of infinite possibilities. Order must prevail, it declared, warping reality around them. Jax and Sierra linked minds through the core, their love and resolve overpowering the Codex's logic. With ally support, they redirected its energy, transforming it into a guardian of balance rather than destruction. Back on the Luminary, peace restored, Jax and Sierra reunited with Lyra. Their family, now a symbol of hope, continued exploring, knowing the galaxy's mysteries were far from solved. But together, they were unstoppable,